I am Dracula.
Hammer is back, baby. Welcome to the Graveyard Club. As some of you may know, billionaire Playboy is after buying over Hammer and promises to bring back all the classics that you grew up watching. So I'm talking about the Draculas, the mummies, you name it. He's looking to bring them back into the modern age, and I'm fucking here for it. So I thought today would be a good idea to do 5 movies that Hammer need to remake and bring back into the modern age. Let's get into it.
I saw him just as clear as I see you now. All grey, his eyes staring. I saw him.
First movie I want to talk about is Plague of the Zombies. Now, when you think of the word zombie, I guarantee you straight away you're thinking The Walking Dead, Night of the Living Dead. You know, like flesh-eating, fucking decaying zombies. Well, in this film, which predates Night of the Living Dead by a couple of years, they're voodoo zombies. So it's set in an old English village, and bodies are rising from the grave, they're killing people, and nobody knows who's doing it. And all these zombies are being mind controlled by some fucking lunatic. And there's some great scenes in this film, pretty iconic. I guarantee you might recognise a few of them, especially the dream sequence I'm going to play right now. But yeah, John Gore, if you're watching, this could be the one to do it. I'd love a remake of Plague of the Zombies. The next one is The Witches. Now, think folklore horror. Think The Wicker Man. This one, it's about a girl played by Joan Fontaine, and she's working in Africa as a teacher. Then she gets attacked by a load of witch doctors. Skips forward, and now she's in an old English village. She's after moving there, and all the villagers are real weird. They're hiding something from her. Turns out that they're all in a big cult and want her to join or be a part of it in some way. Now, they're not Satanists, but they are cult, and there's a kind of a bit of an iconic scene at the end where they're all dancing. It's like some sort of ceremony. So yeah, in a world where it's all jump scares and gore horror movies, I think there's a bit of room for another folklore horror. Now, Hereditary is the pinnacle of folklore horror. I'll even put that past this one and The Wicker Man. So, but there is room for more. You know what I mean? There is room for more. The next one is The Abominable Snowman.
A small band of men on a perilous search for the man-beast of Tibet. The abominable snowman of the Himalayas.
I've reviewed this on the channel, so if you are interested in the film, go down and check it out. And you just watch the film as well. It's fucking brilliant. This one stars Christopher Lee and Forrest Tucker. And it's about a group of fucking researchers that want to go out to the Himalayan mountains in search of the Yeti. And they find the Yeti. And they find multiple Yetis as well. And they also come to find that they're telepathic. So one by one, the Yetis are picking apart this group until there's only one person left, and that's Peter Cushing. And it's a great scene at the end of it where the Yetis come in and they're talking to Peter Cushing's character through telekinesis. Like, it's creepy. Like, imagine a remake of that. Could you imagine how good a remake of that would be? There's, like, in terms of Bigfoot and Yeti movies, there's not really a lot out there. Like, especially in the mainstream, like high budget sort of films. Like, when you think of a Bigfoot movie, you just think like a cheap, like low budget found footage film, you know. But yeah, I think an Abominable Snowman remake would fucking slap, man. Honestly to God, I think it'd be really good to do it. The only thing is you won't have Peter Cushing in it, which I love Peter Cushing, but it could work. You could make it work. The next one, now I might have a bit of intel that this could be confirmed. The Reptile. If anyone's not familiar with The Reptile, again, it's set in an old English village, and there's been killings going around, and nobody knows who's done it. And it's basically a half reptile, half human character. She's a girl, and she's gone around doing all the killing. And the only reason why I think I have intel, because I hound Hammer every single day on Instagram asking when does the slate of movies coming, is there a new movie or trailer coming out, because it seems like all they're doing the last while is like re-releasing Blu-rays, different movies that we've seen before. But I mentioned The Reptile, and someone replied from Hammer saying my lips are sealed with about 10 S's at the end of it. So I don't know, that could be a little bit of confirmation that we could be getting a Reptile sequel, a remake I mean. So if we do, you're here to hear first, and I want this fucking video to be fucking shown everywhere, if it is true. And for lastly, like, I'm just gonna lump a few of them in: the Draculas, the Mummies, Curse of the Werewolf, and the Frankensteins. Like, we could do with more of them. Like, say for the Draculas, like, I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but BBC has a mini-series of Dracula. I think it's like 3 or 4 parts, and it's fucking brilliant. Like, this is what, like, a Hammer Dracula film should be. Like, I know we had Nosferatu that came out just, like, a couple of weeks ago, and that shows you how a vampire movie should be done. Fucking brilliant. That's a 10 out of 10 film. But when I think of Dracula, I'm thinking like Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, kind of like a sleazy playboy kind of character with a little bit of like animalistic in him. And that BBC miniseries is fucking perfect. Like, they should have almost just made that into a film, I'll be honest with you. So if Hammer can take notes from anything, watch that BBC miniseries. It's fucking brilliant. A full movie of that from Hammer would go down very well. For Frankenstein, I know Del Toro has one coming out this year. God knows how that's going to be. More than likely will be good. But again, Hammer could bring back like the Frankenstein and have the Doctor as do you know what I mean? Pick a good actor that could carry the torch like Peter Cushing did as the Doctor, and I think it could work out well, especially if you're going to do sequels with it. Because like there was some Hammer films, like Frankenstein films, that were set in the present day, well, 1970s present day, and there was some set back in the old times. You know what I mean? Like, but they could work. And for the Mummy, I don't even think there's been a good Mummy film in the last 20 years. Like, we all know about that Tom Cruise one. That was fucking dirt. I wanted to like that one, but it was bad. Dr. Jekyll, Russell Crowe in it, fuck me. Like, that was a bad old fucking film. Now, I did see somewhere Universal could. I think there is that they're remaking the Mummy, but God knows what direction they're going in. Like, I want the full blown horror. Like, that last Mummy film was more of an action film, if anything. But yeah, a mummy, like a killer mummy back in the suit with the arms up like that, I think could work. And Hammer only actually made one werewolf film, The Curse of the Werewolf, and it was set in Spain in the fucking 1890s or something like that, like long ago. And it's a great film. Not much of a kind of like a bloodbath horror film, but it was good. And I think they could do more werewolf films, you know. But yeah, as many as Hammer films I want to see remade, there's obviously loads that shouldn't be remade. In the 1970s, when Hammer were kind of going down because the Americans were going up, like America were putting out movies like The Exorcist, while Hammer films were putting out movies like Straight Until Morning and Fear of the Night. They were really trying to toy around with the idea of like psychological horror, but the Americans were just doing it so much better, like, and that's why like a lot of the later Hammer films aren't really that good. So I wouldn't really care to see many late Hammer films being remade, but a good one is Devil Rides Out. I'm not sure how they do that in this day and age, but The Devil Rides Out was one of the most highest rated Hammer films, and I love it myself. So maybe you could remake something like that. If I had a wish list, like a fantasy wish list of remakes, 1 Million Years BC or The Viking Queen, do you know, ones that just have all the girls in it, like they're good, but I'm not sure how a remake of that would be made. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be a bit silly, like. But yeah, John Gore, if you're watching this film, there's a couple of movies I want to see remade, and I'm sure a lot of us fans of Hammer want to see them being remade as well. And announce something, like announce a Dracula film, or announce that you're working on something, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be great to know that we're getting a return to form Hammer film from the new company, you know. But if you made it this far, I'd just like to say thank you, everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting on the videos. It really helps, so make sure you do, and let me know what you want to see from Hammer, like remake wise, or do you want to see them go and do something else, like even the remake The Woman in Black. They were great fucking films as well, but you could also do like new horror films. Like, John Gore is a billionaire. He has the money to get any director he wants on board to any of these films. Could you imagine like a film like The Abominable Snowman being made by James Wan or something like that? I think the sky's the limit with Hammer, but it's sad we just haven't seen anything just yet. And they did kind of release a movie last year, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, starring Eddie Izzard, but the only thing is Hammer kind of came in halfway through and took over that production, so it's not really a Hammer film from the foundation up, you know. So hopefully in 2025 we get to see a few little sneak peeks or a bit of news from Hammer, but who knows? I'm just hoping. See you on the podcast this week. It's my turn. See you on the next one.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I am Dracula.